my brother and myself were actually right into BMX racing as kids. I think we both raced BMX from like 6 or 7 to probably 12. Both played a lot of footy and I still love rugby league. Like, I'm a big Manly fan.
Well, you're down this way. It's perfect.
Don't take a swing. Yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah.
My team doesn't even exist, see?
Oh, yeah, back in the day. Yeah, so, like, we're our family are big Manly fans. Like, I played footy for Camden all the way till I was 16 or 17, so, and raced a bit of BMX before that.
Go, go, go! Are you doing it? He's in! That's a massive crash. And it's happened immediately! This is amazing! Big shot, and it's lights out, and away we go!
Well, Cammy, I've been trying to get you on the podcast for ages, and you're finally here.
I'm hard to get a hold of, aren't
I know.
No, it's good to be here. Yeah, I've been actually looking forward to it. I've never sat down and done something like this, so it'd be good.
Yeah, you were telling me about other podcasts. I guess our one's different because you actually get to have that social interaction, which a lot of podcasts are on the phone and whatnot. What's the difference with those podcasts to this one, though?
Well, straight away, like, this is more of a casual chat. Like, you got some content here with, I don't know, I think it's cool. Like, you sit down and actually have a longer conversation where different things I've done before, like you might be talking to someone on the phone for, 10 minutes and it mightn't sound as good, or I can already hear myself in this. It sounds like what a podcast sounds like. It's good. Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of this. Obviously, it's a lot of putting together fit for you guys instead of just calling someone up, but this is a good idea. Yeah.
How is it getting here, though? Because you're all the way from Bartsway, Picton, Camden.
Yeah. Well, Warrombi I'm from, so yeah, in between sort of Camden and Picton. Yeah. It was probably close to 2 hours. Oh, hour 45. Yeah. Yeah. It's a bit of a hike, but I just had the tunes on and made a few phone calls like I always do, and next minute I was here.
Just business development on the way here.
Yeah, talk about it, never stops.
What's Warrombi like?
Well, I actually Abbi and I live on 5 acres at the back of her parents' property. So they got a real long sort of steep driveway, and we're up the back. And they've got sheep and dogs and chicken, and I like it. Like, I've moved out there. So so Abby's brother it's like a shed, basically a granny flat up the back of their property. Yeah. And Abby's older brother lived in there, and then Abby's older sister lived in there, and now she's in there with me. Yeah. And yeah, I like it. So you moved out there probably a year, 18 months ago. Yeah. And for us, it's, like, I'm obviously away a lot with racing and different schedules during the week, and then she's paramedic playing footy, so we sort of don't really cross paths all that much. So it's a pretty good, I guess, meeting point for us just to hang out when we see each other.
Do you see each other at night, or is her the night? Is Abbi the night shift, or does it switch ever around and then you kind of see each other at certain times during the day or whatnot?
Yeah, like some more, like I've been doing a few nights out at Eastern Creek, so like sometimes we'll see each other in the morning, and then she might start at 10 or 11, finish at 10 or 11 that night. Yeah. Sometimes if she's like 6 in the morning till 6, then she'll go straight to training or straight to the gym. So I reckon we probably actually sit down and have dinner together maybe once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on where I'm at. Like, obviously next week I'm in Adelaide for the full week. Yeah. So she'll be off shift, sitting at home twiddling her thumbs thinking, where's Cam? He's away.
So she doesn't come with you to every race meeting? Just because of her schedule, in a way.
Yeah, she's come to a fair few. Like she's there as soon as she can, but obviously with, like, when she's not playing the actual NRLW, she plays in like the feeder series for that. Yeah. So like she would still train 3 nights a week, and when she's not doing that, she's paramedic 4 days on, or 4 arvos on, 4 off. So it's hard to, Adelaide being a 4-day event, I'm there for a week. It's sort of hard to line up, but yeah. So she's I don't know if she come to Bathurst, but she's come to a few this year. She gets there as soon as she can. So.
Yeah. What's the feeder series to the NRLW? Because we were saying outside that it's just there's a lot of girls, but they're trying to obviously monetize it in a way to get them all paid. How's that all work? From her end,
it's sort of like the there's obviously men's rugby league, then New South Wales Cup, I guess. Yeah. I think it's the New South Wales Cup of the Women's W, basically. So it's only in New South Wales or Sydney. So I think it's like North Sydney. They still have like Bulldogs, St Mary's, Mounties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's where like the Sydney NRLW teams, I guess, pick their players from that, I guess, pool of teams. So she only started playing, she always played netball and OzTag and touch footy and all that, but she only started playing tackle footy in 2019, I think it was, for Camden Rams.
Really? So it's only recent.
Yeah, she hasn't played for long at all.
How did she get into that? Like, what drove her to go into that up from wherever she was coming from?
Well, her family are a big footy family. Like, Abby's dad's got a business, Direct Steel Traders. I've been trying to get him to sponsor me for years, but he's not really into car racing. He helps me out a bit, which is good. But yeah, they're massive footy people. Like, they're big South Sydney fans. Yeah. So she's always been really, really sporty. I think her dad played, and obviously her brother played, and she played OzTag and all that from a kid. And then it wasn't till 2019 that she started playing tackle footy at Camden. Yeah. And then that's where she got picked up to play that sort of New South Wales Cup, so to speak, for Bulldogs. And then she got selected from there to play for Parramatta in the NRLW. So it sort of went 2019, 2020, they didn't do much. Then last year and this year, like bang, bang, bang. It all sort of happened pretty quick for her. Yeah.
And you were at the grand final, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to an NRL grand final years ago, but that was cool. And for the girls, like they were on 2 or 3 hours before the men, but there was still 50,000 people there for the women's grand final.
It was big. We said that when we came in. We were like, this is awesome to see.
Yeah.
I think they said it's one of the biggest crowds, but there was a lot of people there.
No offense to the men's game, but the women's game was actually better to watch.
Yeah.
It was. Yes.
It was good. Like, and for them it was great. Like, for the atmosphere and how they brought on introduced all the players and the teams, and it was literally like what they do for the men. So obviously building the NRLW, like, it was a good way to do it and to have it on that, because I don't even think they've done an NRLW grand final on the men's grand final day. I think that was the first time.
Yeah, because it obviously started around COVID, so that would have been the whole time it was actually introduced all together.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that was cool for them, and we like where I was sitting was sort of in the Parramatta supporter area, so it was a bit doom and gloom at the end of the night. But the vibe it was cool. Like, I sort of sat with Abby's family and obviously other girl players' families and friends and stuff, and then obviously all the girl team come and sat out with us when the boys were on. So for even all the girls to sit in watching the men's grand final, because it was para in the girls, para in the men's, like, it was actually a cool thing to be a part of. Like, I went to the Parramatta after party after it. Obviously, it was a little bit doom and gloom. Yeah. But just to see how they sort of have built that whole getting the girls involved, like everything was, even the signs and everything they had at the after party wasn't just about the men's. It was just literally half girls, boys. They mix it in pretty well. Like, yeah. And it was cool to see, just everyone mingling together and obviously for the Para Club, it was a pretty cool day, even though they both lost. But to be a part of that whole, where we sat, where we went to the after party, just to be a part of that whole thing was actually, pretty cool. And then, like, just even hanging out with all the, like, Moses and all them guys after the game was pretty cool. As I said, even though they were a bit doom and gloom, it was actually cool to just, even Brad Arthur come up to Abby and told her how good she went, throughout the year. And because she injured herself the first or second game and actually struggled to get back in the side for a few games. And it's obviously pretty cutthroat. Yeah. And then she played the last 2 games. I think she scored a try in the semi and proved herself in the end. So it was good to see. Yeah. And we were saying off air, obviously coming to the studio, that we met each other through the UKS thing. Yeah. So you would have seen, going back to the women's in rugby league, you've seen a lot of girls obviously start karting as well, wouldn't you? Yeah. Like that. How do you reckon that could actually happen in our, like, realm of motorsport? We might have a... Like, do you reckon there's a better way to introduce... I don't know. I know obviously it's a money game in our sport because you literally fight for sponsors to get in the supercar grid. But do you reckon there's some sort of way that they could do that even in go-kart level or something like that? Like, what's your hot take on that? Yeah, it was actually, even when I was working at Ultimate Karting, it was surprising how many young, girl drivers wanted to come through and race. Like they used to do a Wednesday night kids race night, and there was a heap of girls come through to do it. So, I think I guess there has to be a way, like, because there's so many big companies out there that I guess support the whole women in sport thing. Like you look at Harvey Norman, like they really, they pump the whole girls thing.
Yeah,
obviously
Bathurst a few years ago.
Yeah, and they're obviously the major sponsor of the NRLW, and so I don't know exactly how you could do it, but I feel like even talking to a couple of my sponsors have said, I know back to the footy a little bit, have wanted to get involved with Abbi because I think the women in sport thing is growing. They're getting publicity, and Abby's pretty good to look at. So she's, I feel like she could do a lot with, and she's not like that. Like she wouldn't really know how to, I guess, chase the.
So do you help her with that though? Like, do you help her in front of the camera in a way? Because she looks shy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she is. Bit of a resting bitch face, I'd actually call it, and she actually agrees with that. Yeah, but she's not like she just wants to play footy and stay fit and all that. But I've sort of said to her, like, you're on you're hot property in a way at the moment, I think, to actually make a bit of extra money, like get
because she's halfback, isn't she? She halfback or?
Oh no, centre and wing. She did. I think she did a little bit in the halves back early days, but like for Parramatta, it's been mainly centre. Trains a fair bit. Oh, she does the New South Wales Cup stuff with St Mary's at fullback and Bulldogs at fullback.
Okay,
but yeah, centre and sometimes wing for Para. But I'm sort of here, I guess, spending the money to go racing. I'm like, you could be making more. Like,
that's it. Especially with all like the brand partnerships on social media, all of that. I came from like marketing in that area, and I was like, I used to go after athletes for the different brands that we were working with because they're perfect for it. It's kind of like you've got your actresses, you've got your singers, this and that, but the sports people have just they're everything a brand wants. You're promoting health and out there and get like a good mentor to young children. So she needs to go out there and start looking for that, build a following, and they'll be chasing her, knocking down a door. And the money that they'll pay for a post, I know small brands will pay $5,000 to $10,000 a post. Like we're talking, it's ridiculous, but hey, if you're going to get paid, do it.
Well, that's like, you think of protein shakes and health foods and footy boots or shoes or sportswear, all that sort of stuff that's massive on social media. And for someone that's in the top level of NRLW. And Abby's obviously very fit. Like I think she could do well with it, but she's not really. She's got a manager now. That.
So you both got managers.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah.
You can explain yours after you explain hers.
I will. Yeah. Yeah. But I think he sort of more chases the contract stuff and who she's going to play for and whatever. But I'd like to see her get be the ambassador for whatever, like different companies and stuff. I reckon she could do well out of it. Make some extra money for both of us.
Yeah. So you gotta tell us and the audience listening, like, how you grew up a bit of a background on yourself. So what's the Cameron Crick that people might not know about when he was younger?
Yeah, so like I actually didn't start go-karting really young, like probably everyone that I race against. My brother and myself were actually right into BMX racing as kids. I think we both raced BMX from like 6 or 7 to probably 12. Both played a lot of footy and I still love rugby league. Like I'm a big Manly fan.
Well, you're down this way. It's perfect.
Don't take a swing. Yeah, exactly. Actually,
my team doesn't even exist. See.
Oh yeah, back in the day. Yeah, so like we're our family are big Manly fans. Like I played footy for Camden, all the way till I was 16 or 17. So and raced a bit of BMX before that. And even when Dad was around, like he was obviously very successful in motorsport, and that's a lot of people knew him for, and we still went to. We still went to Bathurst every year and stuff like that, spectating, and he obviously knew a lot of people there. But at the time, like I was, you know, even when I was, 10, 11, 12, like I didn't have, I would love to have done it, but it never really sort of come, like, I don't know, we're just playing footy. Like that's sort of what we did growing up. Like Dad ran the water for our team and helped on the barbecue, like for when the teams after us played. Like we're actually a big footy family growing up. And it wasn't till, it was probably more my mum's dad, Pop, Robbie Russell. He actually raced trucks back in the day as well.
Yep. Oh, so there's more than just your dad that raced trucks.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. I just thought it was your dad just wanted to get into it.
Yeah. Nah. It was funny. Well, for a few years, my dad's main rival or competitor in truck racing was my Pop.
Yeah.
So
right.
Mum was sort of in the awkward, like she was, marrying my dad, and then her dad's there racing against him and they're really good mates off the track actually. But yeah, so obviously mum's side, you know, with my Pop, well, I call him my mum's side, which is Rob, I call him Pop.
Yep.
And then my dad's dad, I call him Pa. So that's how we sort of So yeah, like, and Pop sort of got Jared into go-karting when he was my brother, and mine
was he first? Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And mine, like, actually Jared was really, like, he was probably better straight out of the box than probably what I was, like, in a go-kart. Like, he's always had, even on BMX, like, I feel like he was probably always a bit more naturally talented. Like, he was really good racing BMX. I was a bit unco and I sort of come good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's all right. Don't feel that. But I was like that too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mind you, I smoke him now every time we get in the go-kart, but because I'm doing it all the time. But I think back then, like it would have been good to see what he could have done.
Want to hear more? Each week we will share the hottest clips from our guest interviews on YouTube. But to hear the full episode, make sure to subscribe or follow us on your favourite podcast platform.